The notion that greater power in the Force equates to immunity from Darth Nihilus Force drain is a flawed assumption, as demonstrated by examples within the expanded universe where even the strongest Force users fall victim to similar techniques. Nihilus variant of Force drain operates on a scale and principle unlike standard manifestations of the ability, consuming life and Force energy indiscriminately. Furthermore, historical precedents within Sith lore, such as Darth Krayt's successful use of Force drain on Abeloth, demonstrates that no Force wielder is inherently safe from such techniques, no matter how powerful they are. Additionally, Nihilus himself is not immune to his own power, further highlighting the universality of its devastating effects. Darth Nihilus Force drain is unlike any other technique in Sith history, where most Force drains are targeted attacks that siphon the life force of a single individual. Nihilus ability functions on a massive planetary scale. It is indiscriminate, consuming all life and Force energy in its radius without regard for the strength or status of its victims. This overwhelming hunger stems from Nihilus' unique condition as a wound in the Force, caused by his survival of the cataclysmic destruction at Malachor 5 during the Mandalorian Wars. His existence became defined by an endless need to feed on Force energy to sustain himself, creating a devastating power that even he could not fully control. What makes Nihilus Force drain so dangerous is that it bypasses traditional defenses. It is not a duel of will or power where strength in the Force might provide resistance. Instead, it is an omnidirectional vortex that pulls all energy toward him, much like a black hole. It consumes the very essence of life itself, making it impossible for even powerful Force users to escape unless they can sever or shield their connection to the Force entirely. While it may seem logical that a stronger connection to the Force would provide protection against Nihilus Force drain, this is not supported by precedent. The example of Darth Krayt draining Abeloth is instructive here. Abeloth was a being of near-godlike power, vastly exceeding the typical limits of most Force users. As a manifestation of chaos and imbalance, she was deeply connected to the dark side and capable of feats that few others could comprehend, let alone counter. Yet, Darth Krayt, through sheer will and mastery of Force drain, was able to siphon her power and ultimately contribute to her defeat. This demonstrates that even the most powerful entities in the Force are not immune to being drained. The technique itself operates independently of its target's strength. It relies instead on the skill and intent of the one wielding it. Krayt's triumph over Abeloth illustrates that Force drain, when properly applied, can bypass the raw power of even the strongest Force users, as it attacks the very foundation of their connection to the Force. Nihilus Force drain operates on similar principles but on a far grander scale. If a being like Abeloth could be affected by Force drain, then no lesser Force user, regardless of their strength, could reasonably claim immunity to Nihilus variant. In fact, the stronger a Force user's connection, the more vulnerable they might be, as Nihilus power targets and feeds on that connection directly. A further indication that no one, not even Nihilus himself, is immune to his Force drain lies in the fact that his own ability slowly consumed him over time. Nihilus' condition as a wound in the Force made him an anomaly, but it also ensured that his hunger would never be sated. Each act of feeding only deepened his dependence on the Force drain, eroding what remained of his physical and spiritual being. He became a shell, more hunger than man, and ultimately incapable of controlling the very power that defined him. If Nihilus, the user and master of this technique, could not protect himself from its consequences, it is unreasonable to assume that others could. The universal nature of his Force drain ensures that all beings connected to the Force are equally susceptible to its effects, regardless of their strength or mastery. The susceptibility of all Force users to Nihilus drain variant speaks to a broader truth about the Force. No one is truly invincible. The Force, in its infinite complexity, does not operate on simple hierarchies of power. Techniques like Nihilus force drain exploit vulnerabilities inherent in all beings connected to the Force, emphasizing that even the strongest are not immune to certain dangers. This universality aligns with the Sith philosophy that power is both a gift and a curse. While the Sith seek to dominate the Force, their pursuit often leads to their own undoing, as seen in the cases of both Nihilus and Crate. Their mastery of force drain allowed them to achieve incredible feats, but it also highlighted the inherent dangers of such power. Nihilus' eventual destruction came not from a superior force user, but from the limitations of his own condition. A stark reminder that the pursuit of power often carries an inescapable price. The idea that greater power in the Force grants immunity to Nihilus force drain is a misconception that ignores both the mechanics of the technique and historical evidence. Nihilus force drain operates on a scale and principle that makes it effective against all beings connected to the Force, regardless of their strength. The example of Darth Crate draining Abeloth further demonstrates that even the most powerful entities can fall victim to force drain, provided the wielder's intent and mastery are sufficient. Finally, Nihilus' own vulnerability to his power underscores the universal nature of its effects and serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of the dark side. In the end, Nihilus force drain is a testament to the complexity and dangers of the Force, a reminder that no one, no matter how powerful, is truly immune to its darker aspects.